Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
The Waverley man convicted of attempting to kill his ex-partner after murdering her new boyfriend in a frenzied stabbing attack has learned his fate. The judge scathing of Kerry Lee Whiting's disregard for his own children while handing down an almost 4-decade-long prison sentence for the cowardly attack. Nick Kelly has more.
Kerry Lee Whiting sat stony-faced for 20 minutes as Justice Tamara Jago delivered her sentence, describing the November 2021 crime as a cowardly attack when he broke in during the night and stabbed Adrian Main 20 times while he slept, killing him before stabbing ex-partner Natalie Harris 27 times. Incredibly, she survived. The Justice outlined the profound lifelong impact the crime has had on Whiting's own children who were in the house at the time, saying his plan to also kill Natalie was thwarted by the brave and desperate actions of his then 16-year-old son. Finding it was because of his controlling, possessive and jealous attitude that he wasn't willing to let Natalie move on, so he determined to kill both her and Adrian. She described the evidence against Whiting as overwhelming, saying he went into hiding for a week well aware of what he'd done. Whiting has been sentenced to 38 years prison, having already served 2.5. He'll be eligible for parole in 2045.
Well, Huon Aquaculture says a $110 million expansion will make the company's salmon farming operations more efficient and sustainable. It still faces opposition, though, with the project labelled greenwashing.
Huon says its whale point operations are going swimmingly. Now the company is making a splashy $110 million investment.
Tasmania's biggest recirculating aquaculture system.
Due for completion by 2027 and to create 8 permanent new jobs, Huon says it isn't about increasing fish numbers.
It's an investment that provides efficiency in our operations, it provides animal welfare, and it provides a greater sustainability.
The facility will allow fish to be grown on land for an extra 2 months, meaning they spend 14 of the 24-month life cycle on land.
When we grow them bigger on land, they are more robust, and when they go to sea, they convert feed better into fish.
We are concerned about all those things, about matters environmental, matters economic and job security.
Those opposed to salmon farming call this greenwashing.
The fish only being there for a smaller amount of time doesn't mean anything if they're just going to be replaced in an ongoing cycle. It actually means more fish. Despite
some pioneering efforts overseas, Huon claims entirely land-based salmon farming still isn't possible. And with Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek still weighing up whether operations can continue in Macquarie Harbour, debate whether the industry has social licence continues.
Our business is pretty close to 100% related or somewhat related to the salmon industry and our aquaculture industry.
That if you're going to make a significant investment in infrastructure, then you should be investing in moving the entire industry onto land.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A new youth justice task force has been assembled to reduce the number of children in Ashley Youth Detention Centre. Reporting to State Service Head Catherine Morgan-Wicks, the Premier says the group is also working on the new Pontville facility and increasing diversion programs. It follows a motion to establish a task force passing the upper house and recent record highs of detainees at Ashley. Tasmania's Health Department is bracing for a surge in winter illnesses like COVID, the flu and RSV. It's calling for more patients to be treated at home to ease hospital pressures and stop the spread early.
More Tasmanians are falling victim to respiratory illnesses thanks to the winter chill.
At the moment, we're not seeing a peak in hospitalisation, we're simply seeing a peak in illness.
Health Department data shows COVID-19 increasing in case numbers weekly. Influenza and RSV also on the rise.
We haven't peaked in influenza of our RSV this winter, which is why we continue to have the message of protect yourself first, get vaccinated.
The early seasonal peak, a catalyst for extra hospital resources. The Care at Home program, one of which has prevented thousands of people with chronic diseases from needing to visit the ED.
There are certain risk groups that we try to focus on, and so for COVID we've more focused on the older age, although influenza as well, but we do certainly see people of all ages.
47,000 in fact. Michael Searle is one of those who was able to manage his COVID diagnosis alongside terminal cancer. He was given a virtual monitoring kit for his oxygen levels, heart rate and temperature.
The technology that they're using to be able to monitor how you're actually travelling each day is outstanding.
But before the peak, washing hands, staying home while sick and wearing a mask can help to stop the spread. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Having raised almost $100,000 for Cancer Council Tasmania since her own diagnosis in 2021, Hayley Luttrell isn't done yet. The money is being used to boost some of the services that helped her through a difficult time, including oncology, massage and Pilates classes.
Those classes help you build the skills to cope with your diagnosis, your treatment and side effects, while also having the opportunity to make social connections with other patients going through similar things to you.
We are more than 85% funded by the community. The funding that we receive enables us to deliver a whole range of services to Tasmanians impacted by cancer.
Hayley's first fundraising effort was to stock the wig library with all colours and styles, plus hats and beanies. With the first of the new Spirit of Tasmania ships just months away, Labor's calling for an investment in tourism infrastructure. They say the 40% increase in capacity will put extra demand on ageing visitor infrastructure such as caravan dump points and amenities.
Can you imagine up the east coast, Bay of Fires and all the caravans that are going to be going there, going 5-6 metres into the bushes, digging a hole with a shovel? It's not going to be pretty.
It's really important that tourists get a great experience when they come to Tasmania, and that means having all of the infrastructure ready to go when the spirits do finally arrive.
Government Minister Erica Betts says the estate will cooperate with councils to upgrade infrastructure. Three-time Olympic rower Simon Burgess has pleaded guilty to common assault after earlier indicating he'd fight the charge. The 56-year-old Geeveston local has already pleaded guilty to 3 further family violence breaches and 1 count of injuring property. The charges stem from an incident at a home in Franklin in the Huon Valley during early December. Burgess is due back in court on August 13. A Tasmanian police sergeant has written a book aiming to spark conversations about PTSD between first responders and their families. The book, It's Just Work, explains to children why parents may suffer burnout or stress at home, assuring them it's not their fault.
That sometimes the scary, dangerous or sad things Mum has to do at work are hard to forget about when she's at home.
I think that the way in which it's been written and how children can really relate to the message that's in there, I think that's what makes the book so powerful.
It's the 6th published book by author Stuart Williams. It's all fun and games for these UTAS students. Their new creation, Party Poppers, launching in Hobart. The creative minds coming up with part of the overall design, art and marketing aspects of the game, helping them be job ready.
We actually take them to different kinds of places in the world to showcase these games as well. So a lot of the students who've worked on this game have showcased in Boston and in Seattle and on the mainland as well.
It's the 5th video game made by UTAS students and is available on PlayStation 5. A Tasmanian cycling group focused on getting women hooked on pedal power is celebrating a special milestone. With the sport often thought of as male-dominated, the Girl Gang has been helping riding enthusiasts get on their bike for 4 years now.
An idea coined during COVID, now the self-styled Girl Gang have found overwhelming support.
We started off with 4 on our first Girl Gang and we now have over 200 in the Facebook community.
Helping them to find their feet or their pedals without any pressure.
Having like our own space for women, I think just feels a lot more inclusive and easier to access.
It's really nice just getting together with the girls every now and then. It's got a different vibe.
Open for all capabilities, the group making sure no one is left behind.
We ride at the pace of the slowest rider on the day.
Reminding drivers there's space on the road for everyone.
Motorists are actually allowed to overtake cyclists where there's double lines, providing that it's safe to do so.
Hobart City Council has introduced various bike lanes across Hobart, with the potential to build more. An initiative the Girl Gang says would be helpful, especially for novice riders.
It's great to see, more bike lanes popping up, because it is so important, particularly for those people who don't necessarily feel comfortable.
Marking their 4th year anniversary this weekend, the only way they know how.
The general consensus of the group was actually that we're going to ride 100k to celebrate that.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Students from 3 high schools were given a peek behind the curtain, joining the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra in one final rehearsal ahead of a major performance tomorrow night. Organisers hoping to inspire them to pursue music studies at school.
I've seen orchestras do it because my grandpa's in one, but I haven't actually been to one like this before.
It allows students to see that there's a lot of hard work and rigour into putting on a performance. It doesn't just come naturally.
There are only 2 more rehearsals this year where schools can book to come and watch. A botanical artist is drawing inspiration from a recent fellowship on Macquarie Island for her next project. Hobart's Maura Chamberlain took a voyage on the RSV Noyina to reach the remote location where she collected samples of plants for an upcoming exhibition and book.
Even though it is winter and the plants aren't in flower, they are in their habitat, and seeing them with the other plants they grow with, the communities, is actually really inspiring.
Maura is one of more than 50 artists who've taken part in the fellowship program over the past 40 years.
After a 1-week TSL hiatus for the interstate games, North Launceston's coach believes there's no reason they won't continue their blistering form against the reigning premiers. Adrian Smith spoilt for choice with near full availability across his roster.
Selection was a headache last night, that's for sure. Having some of the top end talent available like Lenny Douglas and Q-Bank and Max Roney and Harry Elmer as our state captain, it was a bit of a selection dilemma, that's for sure, and trying to fit all those players in amongst some players that are playing pretty well.
The Tigers left with their tails between their legs from the last meeting with the Northern Bombers, a 51-point margin. And the Jackies are keen to start a Tasmanian women's team in an expanded WNBL as a private consortium takes over a majority share of the Women's League from Basketball Australia. The deal will see the NBL and Wallamai Capital Group take over a 75% stake from April next year, and there's a strong possibility more licences will be up for grabs. And that certainly will be very exciting, Kim.
Watch this space. Thank you, Nick. Well, Peter Murphy will join us after the break with the weather.
Good evening, Hobart. 12 degrees today. Launceston reached 13 and 14 in Devonport and Burnie. 15 was our high at Smithton, Friendly Beaches, along with King and Flinders Islands. St Helens and Grove 14, Lowhead and Strawn 13, Lyowini a top of 5. Just a few light showers today. Lake Margaret the highest reading to 4 o'clock with 17 millimetres as most of the clouds swept over the west, central and southern parts of the state. The frontal band is easily seen over southern WA moving over the Bight. Cloud in a jet stream is over coastal Queensland. A low and associated cold front will move closer to our west coast tomorrow. The high remains to the north, reaching from Victoria through to the Northern Territory. The winds tending north-northwesterly tomorrow morning, increasing to 20 to 30 knots and between 30 and 40 knots later over the west. So we have a gale warning there. That's for waters between Low Rocky Point and Stanley. A strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters along with the southwest lakes. Friday in Hobart, 13, a late shower moving in. Same for Huonville, but 12 the top and 13 for Campania. Launceston, 11 degrees with showers tending to rain, 12 the high for Devonport with rain increasing. Rain on the way for Georgetown too, 13 the maximum. Burnie 13 with rain on the way, Strawn, rain 12, 13 for Wynyard. And for the east coast, St Helens 12 with a shower or two, Swansea 13, Port Arthur a bit cloudy and 13 degrees. On Saturday, showers right across the state, but heavier rain expected over the north and west. It'll ease in the afternoon though. A few showers over the west, south and southeast on Sunday. Snow lowering to 700 metres. A cold Monday, temperatures struggling into double figures. A few showers over the west, far south and lower east. Showers easing from Perth, but increasing over Adelaide. Partly cloudy weather and 15 in Melbourne tomorrow. -3 in the morning for Canberra. A sunny day for Sydney and fine for Brisbane. Partly cloudy right now and 10 degrees in Hobart, 9 in Launceston, bit of cloud over Devonport too and 10, and some rain on the way too. Kim, let's hope it fills up the catchments a bit.
Let's hope so. Thank you, Murph. That is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.